right, well, now we come to the next to last book and the third to last movie, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And right off the bat, I did like this one a little better, or actually a lot better than the last one. Now, granted, the last one had some big shoes to fill because I really loved Goblet of Fire, and really Order of the Phoenix I didn't enjoy as a book as much as I enjoyed Goblet of Fire. And Goblet of Fire was a new director, so I figured, well, how was Order of the Phoenix going to top the last one? But Half-Blood Prince benefits a lot from actually a lot of factors that are improved this time around. The acting is still very solid. I know I'm a broken record about this, but the three main guys, Radcliffe, Grint, and Watson, are still very accomplished in their roles, and they actually get a chance to work with some different material this time around. And I'll get to that. In a second. But other players who were kind of reduced to background roles before are given more to work with here, such as Bonnie Wright as Ginny. She's very good. She really begins to come into her own as the very appropriate love interest for Harry. And yeah, this is when Michael Gambon is at his full Gandalf phase. I hate to keep coming back to that because that makes it sound like I don't like him as Dumbledore. I like Michael Gambon as Dumbledore. But in this movie, in the way, in just his wardrobe, he looks like Gandalf the Grey half the time. But he's very good. I really like the little subtle touches that he adds to kind of let you know that Dumbledore doesn't really quite know how to deal with this new evil. Dumbledore at several points in the movie is kind of at a loss. And I found that very interesting, and I found the threats more threatening due to the fact that Dumbledore didn't have all the answers. Dumbledore was getting stumped. He said, "Harry, I need your help." And he is vulnerable at a few points in this movie, and Harry has to actually get him out. So yeah, I liked that. I liked that little bit of change of pace when it comes to the character of Dumbledore, and I also like the increased focus on the dynamic between Harry and Dumbledore. They seem to have if Sirius Black was the surrogate father last time around, Dumbledore is the surrogate father this time around. Likewise, they too form a very understandable and very genuine connection. You really like seeing these two characters together. The two actors work well off each other, and yeah, I liked I liked that bit of characterization, and that's scarcely the only bit of characterization that I liked that feels fresh this time around. But from what I understand, fans of the book didn't really like this one, or at least not as much as the other ones. As far as I've heard, and this could very well just be misinformation, but apparently fans were kind of displeased with this, seeing as the book was. I remember the book being noticeably darker than the movie, and that's not to say that the movie is not dark, but the movie is also very funny, and it seems to balance the dark stuff and the funny stuff rather well. I was actually pretty impressed. Yeah, basically this time around, Harry is dealing with teenage issues, and that is not nearly as cringeworthy as you might think. They keep keep in character a lot of the time, and really the only part of the only part of this whole scenario that I didn't like was the character of Lavender Brown, who is just she's just a caricature. She's a caricature is what she is, and I know that's the point. It's meant to be played for laughs, but I think she got honestly pretty grating. Whenever she popped up, I was like, okay, this is awkward, this is weird, I just want her to go away. That's nothing against the actress, but it's just the writing. It's just the writing. It's the way the film's writer, the way he portrayed her. And I'm not saying Lavender Brown is some Shakespearean character or anything, but they made her so annoying in this movie. I really could not stand her. I hated her more than Dobby. I mean, at least Dobby was useful. At least Dobby was actually integral to the plot. But really, that's the only bit that I don't really like. But with that said, that kind of brings me back to the new material that the actors have to work with this time around, or at least the teenage actors. Or they're not teenage, they're like 20 at this point. But I digress. Them dealing with these very complex and real emotions like rejection, heartbreak, depression, very teenage emotions, and while some of it is played for comedy, some of it is also played very seriously and played in a very somber tone, and it works. I mean, it's really hard for me to describe it, but they handle the funny stuff very well, and they handle the serious stuff very well. And they find a nice balance between the two. I never really felt like I was getting tonal whiplash from this movie. I never really felt that the movie had an inconsistent tone, and whenever it didn't transition, it was just that. It was a transition. It was a very natural transition. I don't really feel like it immediately switched over to something dark and scary from something that's supposed to be funny and awkward. I don't really remember any moments like that where I was like, "Whoa, that was a little jarring." No, it's all handled very naturally and very smoothly. One of the many things I was impressed with. But also something that I have to address that it was also present in the last movie, but is more prevalent here, is the color palette. A lot of the colors are dulled. I mean, they were dulled for Prisoner of Azkaban, but Prisoner of Azkaban just seemed to have a more unique style to it, and the style of Prisoner of Azkaban I thought suited the somewhat muted color scheme better than it does here. Here, it just seems like it's muting the color scheme because it's supposed to be darker. Now, I don't doubt that these stories are supposed to be darker, but in all honesty, the very grayed out colors kind of contrast at times with the more lighthearted stuff. Like when Ron is trying to get good at Quidditch. I think they could have used a little bit more color there, and I'm not saying that they have to continuously switch from color scheme to color scheme because that would get old real fast. But I think they could have found a better balance between the two. I think they could have lightened up the colors a bit so that it suited the dark stuff and the more lighthearted stuff. If that makes sense. But the acting from pretty much everyone is still very good. I liked the fact that we got to see more of Voldemort's backstory, but part of it does raise the question of, you know what, I will get to this in the next part, because let's just say it was at this point that I really started to call out J.K. Rowling as running out of ideas. I know, heresy, but I will further explain that in the next part when it becomes more of a focal point. Here, the whole Horcrux thing is really kind of a subplot. And it's not really a subplot that stands out all that much. Not when we have tons of great character moments to remember. But Jim Broadbent is added to the cast. Jim Broadbent as Professor Slughorn, the new potions teacher. I love this portrayal of the character. I don't think he was meant to be quite as kooky as this movie makes him out to be, at least not in the books. Like I said, it's been a while since I read the book, so I could very well be getting some information wrong. But I just really love Jim Broadbent's very kind of John Cleese-esque performance to this character. Because he's just so lovable in his not quite knowing what to do. He is by no means coordinated, because he is always trying to. He's a collector, so he's always trying to collect samples of things for posterity's sake, or for I think he says for academic reasons. So he kind of sneaks into the greenhouse and tries to snip off some of these hostile moving vines. And at home, this could have some potentially creepy undertones, but he basically has a whole wall of pictures of students who later went on to do famous things, or went on to do very esteemed deeds. Like I think in one of the pictures he's posing with a big time Quidditch star. And that's one of the reasons that Dumbledore sets Harry out. He sends Harry out to basically befriend Slughorn, because Slughorn, it's Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter. He will of course want to get all chummy with Harry Potter, because he can add Harry to his wall and say, like, I yet another great wizard that I trained. But I like the fact that he's not a one-note character. He does harbor regret, and some very understandable regret that we see. And yeah, I liked his performance. Robbie Coltrane is still good, although he and Maggie Smith continue to be pushed to the background, unfortunately. And when I say that, I really do mean unfortunately, because I really liked their characters early on, but from what I remember, they weren't really getting all that much to do in the books at this point either. What can you do? But some of my favorite scenes are the more comedic moments, where we just let the characters breathe. We let them interact, and we let the comedic scenarios take over. I mean, we just let the scenes play. All of these comedic scenes feel very natural, and a lot of the reactions feel very natural, and that's why it's so funny. And there are some unnatural stuff too, because at one point, Harry drinks this thing called liquid luck, and it basically it's exactly what it sounds like. It's supposed to grant you good luck, but the thing is, it also has an effect on your personality. Harry basically goes around like a drunken Dudley Moore, and he's saying hi to random people. He's noticeably more confident and more cheerful than he normally is. It's actually pretty funny, especially when he starts interacting with Slughorn. Oh my god, it should be insulting, it should be stupid, it should be ridiculous, but the way that they don't exactly shove it in your I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I just really got a kick out of this. And it really did seem like Dudley Moore to a certain extent. But I think one of the things that makes it funny is the fact that they do not shove it in your face. They are not, like I said, it's in terms of framing the scenes where I'm just gonna say drunk Harry is. In terms of framing those scenes, they still frame it like a regular scene. You just have Harry just kind of goofing around. The scene's still set up the same. It's just that you have this very different character. So I really liked that. I really liked some of the rightfully confused reactions to him. And yeah, like I said, I just got a kick out of it. And before I end the video, I really want to comment on the death of Dumbledore, because they do handle that very, very well. There were many people who cried and admitted that this scene was very, very sad. And it is. They play it just so beautifully without a line of dialogue. You just see this crowd gathered around Dumbledore. You see the dark mark, Voldemort's dark mark in the sky. And the way that they kind of play it, like I said, without a single line of dialogue and just real quiet, except for the very understated musical score, beautifully understated musical score. It's just a very somber moment that I think they just nail. It is by far the most heart-wrenching scene in the movie, and one of the most heart-wrenching scenes in the series. I really have to congratulate the filmmakers on that. I have to congratulate the actors. I have to congratulate the director. I have to congratulate everyone who had a part in setting up this scene. And with that said, the direction did seem more confident this time around. I mean, David Yates, last time around, he just seemed like he was kind of testing the water. Here he really seemed to step up and take the helm with steadier hands. So what else? Okay, a minor gripe. I don't like Nicholas Hooper's score for the Harry Potter movies as much as Patrick Doyle's or John Williams. I just don't. It's okay, but I think it could have been bigger, it could have been grander, and this could very well have to do with just the way he works, the way he does music. Big and grand just may not be his style. But with that said, I just didn't think that the score for Order of the Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince, I don't think the scores were as grand or as memorable as the previous scores. But that's just me. But yeah, Harry Potter and Half-Blood Prince, I really liked it. Liked it better than Order of the Phoenix, and it is one of the better Potter movies. I mean, if Order of the Phoenix was one of the more lackluster, comparatively lackluster, because Order of the Phoenix was not bad, but if Order of the Phoenix was one of the weaker entries, then Half-Blood Prince is definitely one of the stronger entries. And yeah, just almost everything about it is an improvement over Order of the Phoenix. And yeah, I really, really liked it. I recommend it to even those who don't usually go to a Harry Potter movie. I still recommend it because, like I said, the comedy really works. And they blend it very well with the serious stuff. The acting is solid. The direction is solid. The effects, like always, are solid. And yeah, it's just a very accomplished. I don't even want to say Harry Potter movie. Just a very accomplished movie. So yeah, that's about all I got for Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And next is the big two-parter.